सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः।
नमस्ते स्वामी जी।
नमस्ते नमस्ते। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। ओम गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्थजम्बूफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजम्। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि, विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम्, नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम्, सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने, व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं, देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भगवद्गीता चैप्टर 18 श्लोक 45। स्वे स्वे कर्मण्यभिरतः संसिद्धिं लभते नरः, स्वकर्मनिरतः सिद्धिं यथा विन्दति तच्छृणु। Bhagavan uses two words, Swadharma and Paradharma. He has used these words in chapter 3 also. Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha, paradharmo bhayavaha. Chapter 3, shloka 35, I think. Swadharma and Paradharma. What is supposed to be done by me is my Swadharma, in keeping with the Shastra. What I am supposed to do is my Swadharma. What you are supposed to do is your Swadharma. What I am supposed to do may not be your Swadharma. Your Swadharma is Paradharma for me. What is Swadharma for you is Paradharma for me. As a sannyasi, I am supposed to do certain things. As a grihastha, you are supposed to do certain things. It is your Swadharma. If I say, I will do what you are doing, then it is Paradharma. Krishna says, Paradharmo bhayavaha. Paradharma is as good as adharma. You are supposed to do what is your Swadharma. Swadharma depends on many factors. So many factors decide our Swadharma. Varna is one factor which we have seen in the last session. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Ashrama. There are 4 ashramas. Brahmacharya, Garhasthya, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. 4 ashramas. Even ashrama determines one's Swadharma. The Swadharma of a Grihastha is different from that of a Brahmachari. The Swadharma of a Vanaprastha is different from that of a Kshatriya. A sannyasi. So Varna and Ashrama determine your Swadharma. And there are so many other factors also. Not just Varna and Ashrama. For example, Kula. Which family you are born in? Which family you belong to? In our tradition, we have the idea of inheritance of dharma. The modern people can understand inheritance of wealth. The son inherits father's wealth. Father's property. We understand inheritance of property. And it is birth-based. If you are son of so and so, you inherit his property. It is not merit-based, it is birth-based. Nobody questions it. But when it comes to dharma, we start questioning generally. Why it should be based on birth? But the idea is, our Shastras talk about inheritance of dharma, inheritance of one's duties. If you look at Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a portion where the father tells the son before his death, Tvam Brahma, Tvam Yajnas, Tvam Lokaha. Tvam Brahma, Tvam Yajnaha, Tvam Lokaha. The father tells the son, you are Brahma, you are Yajna, you are Loka. It means you are Brahma, Tvam Brahma. Means you are going to preserve the particular Shakha of Veda which I have been studying and teaching and preserving. If the father has preserved a particular Shakha of Veda, a particular discipline of Shastra, then the son does the same. He studies and teaches the same branch of knowledge. That is how so many disciplines of knowledge have survived. They have survived in families, in Kula. The father preserved a particular discipline of knowledge, and his son preserved the same discipline of knowledge. Tvam Yajnaha. You are Yajna, the father tells the son. The ritual, a particular type of ritual which the father was performing, the son performs after him. Tvam Lokaha. You are Loka. The father had been doing certain type of service in the society, and now the son takes it over and furthers it. So certain things are inherited. Inheritance of duties. The son says it's my duty because my father and grandfather, they all did the same. For a man, it is his father. He inherits the duties of his father and grandfather. For a woman, it is her daughter-in-law. It is her son-in-law. Sorry, not daughter-in-law. What's it called? Mother-in-law. A woman inherits the duties of her mother-in-law. My mother-in-law did this, so I am doing this. A woman will tell you. I am talking about a woman committed to dharma. My mother-in-law did this kind of puja. My mother-in-law did this kind of vrata. My mother-in-law followed this kind of values, and I will follow the same. A woman tells. And for a sannyasi, it is his guru. My guru did this, so I will do this. A sannyasi inherits his dharma from his guru, not from his father or mother. That is how we inherit the Swadharma. So it depends on your kula, your family. There is a kula dharma. The duties pertaining to a given kula. And it depends on your temperament up to a certain extent and your abilities and where you are stationed in life. For example, if you are a father, you have to do the duty of a father to your children. If you are a husband, you have to do the duty of a husband. It is also your swadharma. If you are a wife, you have to do the duty of your wife. It is your swadharma. If you are a son or daughter or a daughter-in-law or son-in-law, you have to do the duty of a son or daughter or daughter-in-law or son-in-law. So all these are swadharma. In short, all that you are supposed to do in keeping with your station of life as per the Shastra is your swadharma. In these verses, Krishna talks about the importance of performing one's swadharma in the pursuit of moksha. Without dharma, there cannot be moksha. You are not prepared for moksha without performing dharma. That is why Bhagavan keeps on emphasizing on swadharma. Sve sve karmanyabhirataha naraha samsiddhim labhate. Sve sve karmani abhirataha. Devoted to one's own karmas. Sve sve karmani. One's own karma means swadharma. Abhirataha, a person devoted to swadharma, person committed to swadharma. Naraha, an individual. Samsiddhim labhate, attains samsiddhi. Samsiddhi means chitta shuddhi. He gets a chitta shuddhi in due course of time. Now a question arises, either in Arjuna's mind or anybody else's mind. Karma is generally binding in nature, because the karma produces punya or papa. Either it produces punya or it produces papa. Whether it is punya or papa, it is binding in nature. Even punya binds. By taking a person to Swarga, a mumukshu is not interested in going to Swarga. Going to Swarga is also a bondage, samsara. Going to America is also a samsara for a mumukshu. Therefore, even punya is binding. But the karma generally produces punya and papa and leads to samsara. How can that kind of a karma lead to moksha by means of chitta shuddhi? Then Krishna says, there is a way of performing karma. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Krishna has mentioned in chapter 2. An efficient way of performing karma and if you have understood the efficient way of performing karma, the karma does not bind. It does not cause bandha by producing punya and papa. Instead, it gives a chitta shuddhi and contributes to the pursuit of moksha. Swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tachanu. In the following verse, Krishna will tell how to make the karma as a means for moksha. How to convert the karma, how to transform the karma into a means for moksha. Swakarma nirataha, engaged in one's own karma, yatha siddhim vindati, how he gets a siddhi, how he gets chitta shuddhi, tat shanu, please listen to me. There is a way of performing karma. And the way includes the attitude. With the proper attitude, if you perform the karma, it contributes to chitta shuddhi. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmana tamabhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaha. The attitude while performing swadharma is Ishwararpana Buddhi, offering the karma to the Ishvara, performing the karma as a worship of Ishvara. While telling this, Bhagavan makes use of the opportunity to explain Ishvara. What is Ishvara? He does not use the word Ishvara. Instead, he defines Ishvara. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam. Yataha, from who? Bhutanam pravrittihi. All the bhutas, all the objects, the whole universe originated. Pravrittihi means utpattihi, the source of everything, the karana of everything. Ishvara is Jagat Karana. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam means Jagat Karana. Yena sarvamidam tatam. Yena Ishvarena idam sarvam tatam vyaptam. The whole universe is pervaded by Ishvara. Ishvara is Jagat Vyapi, Jagat Karana and Jagat Vyapi. He is the cause of the universe, and being the cause, he pervades everything. all pervasive. Swakarmana tamabhyarchya. Swakarmana, by means of one's own karma, means swadharma, by means of one's own dharma. Tam abhyarchya, worshipping Ishvara. Arjuna's swadharma is to fight the war. The war has to be a worship. Even the war can be a worship. Worship need not always be with the flowers and arati. Every karma that you do can be a worship, if it is done with the proper attitude. I am doing this for the sake of Ishvara, because Ishvara has kept me in this position and this is right for me to do. Who has kept me in this position? It is Ishvara. And who has given me the understanding of my duty? It is Ishvara. Therefore, I am doing Ishvara's work. I am doing Ishvara's ajna. This is the attitude of a karma yogi. And if he does with this attitude, then it becomes a worship. It becomes a puja. In Mahabharata, you will find that war is described as a yajna. The yuddha itself is compared to a yajna. Swakarmana tamabhyarchya manavaha siddhim vindati. Manavaha, the human being. Krishna is indicating that karma is meant for a human being. Only a human being can perform karma. Other beings cannot perform karma. Even if you are a devata, you cannot perform karma. The devatas don't have adhikara in karma. Only human beings have adhikara to perform karma. Manushya-adhikara. The human beings are entitled to perform karma. Even a dog or a cat does not perform karma. The dog is programmed. It is instinctive. It does not have a choice. It cannot understand what is right, what is wrong, what is my dharma. A dog cannot understand. It is programmed to behave in a particular way. It does not have viveka. Only human beings are entitled to do karma. And they get the phala. If a tiger kills, it will not have papa. A tiger kills a human being, it won't incur papa. Because it is programmed to kill. It is his food. It does not even think whether killing is right or wrong. Ma himsyat sarva bhutani. You cannot tell a tiger. It's only for a human being. Swakarmana tamabhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaha. A human being gets siddhi, gets chitta shuddhi. श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वभावनियतं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्. Most often we start comparing our work with somebody else's work. A housewife compares herself with a working woman. Another woman is going for a job. My friend is going for a job. I am just a housewife. The housewife feels bad. I am just a housewife. I have to take care of my kids all the time. I have to make chapatis all the time. Whereas my friend is going and sitting in the office. And then she starts complaining. And one fine day she says, I cannot do this. I will not take care of my kids. And she puts her kid to daycare. What is it called? Babysitting. And she starts going to office. Now what is she doing now? Her swadharma is to take care of the children, take care of the family, take care of her husband and in-laws. She doesn't want to do it. And she wants to do paradharma. Somebody else's work she is doing. At the cost of her swadharma. And because of this, so many people might suffer. Especially the children. For a healthy childhood, maternal presence is very important. For the psychological health of a child, mother should be present with the child. She has to do the duty of a mother. She has to do the duty of a wife, a daughter-in-law. Instead, she compares herself to another person and does the work of another person. I don't mean to say that a woman should not go for a job. That is not the idea. If there is a necessity, even a woman can go for a job. But it should not be at the cost of one's swadharma, one's duty. If someone performs paradharma at the cost of one's duty, one's swadharma, then it is as good as adharma. Therefore, Krishna says, Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha. The swadharma may be vigunaha. It may be inferior in quality. or people may consider it as inferior. Some people consider being a housewife as inferior, but it is not really inferior. It is great to be a housewife, a homemaker. Nowadays it is easy to take up a job. It is difficult to remain as a housewife. Very few people do that kind of a sacrifice. Vigunaha. In case of Arjuna, it is Viguna. Arjuna thinks my work is inferior. I am doing the work of a Kshatriya. It is fighting, war. It is inferior compared to the work of a Brahmana or compared to the work of a sannyasi. The sannyasi is just sitting and meditating, studying the Shastra. Arjuna feels that may be a better work. That is why he said in chapter 2, Shreyo bhoktum ikshamapi haloke. It is better to go for bhiksha. Bhiksha is the dharma of a sannyasi. A sannyasi and a brahmachari are entitled to go for bhiksha. Arjuna says, I will do that because my job involves killing. He thinks his dharma is viguna. It is lacking in quality. It is inferior compared to the other people's dharma. Then Krishna says, Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha. Even if it is inferior, supposing that your work is inferior, even then it is better for you. Shreyan paradharmat swanushthitat. It is better than performing a paradharma, even if you can perform a paradharma properly. Arjuna says, I will become a proper sannyasi. Even if you can become a proper sannyasi, even if you can become a proper brahmana, it is not your dharma. Your dharma is your swadharma. What you are supposed to do now, you have to do now. If you do paradharma, it will not give you the phala. Because you are not entitled to do it now. Also, you will have the papa of not performing your swadharma. The papa because of the omission of one's swadharma. Paradharmat swanushthitat. Even if you perform your paradharma properly, it is not as good as performing swadharma. Swabhavaniyatam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham. Swabhavaniyatam karma is swadharma. Swabhavaniyatam. The karma which is determined in keeping with your swabhava. The word swabhava should be understood properly here. It is not just nature. Where you are positioned in life, where you are stationed in life, what situation you are in life, it is your swabhava in this context. The karma which is proper to your present situation in life is your swabhava niyatam karma, which is nothing but swadharma. Kurvan, performing that, kilbisham na apnoti. One does not get kilbisha. Kilbisha means papa, which includes punya also. Both punya and papa. Because for a mumukshu, punya is also not desirable. You do not get punya papa, the binding results of karma. Instead, you get chitta shuddhi. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadoshamapi natyajet sarvarambha hi doshena dhumena agnirivavrataha. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadoshamapi natyajet. Now Arjuna might say, my karma, my swadharma, it involves dosha, demerits. The work of a kshatriya involves demerits in the form of himsa, in the form of violence. There are demerits. There are evils. Therefore, why I should perform this karma, which involves evil, which involves demerit? Then Krishna says, every karma has its own lot of demerit. Every karma, even the best of karma, will entail its own demerits. One cannot perform any karma without some form of demerit or the other. For example, suppose I say, I am going to construct a hospital for the poor people. Is it a good karma or a bad karma? I am going to construct a hospital for poor people. It is a good work, a good social service. But now let me tell you the demerits involved. If I have to construct a hospital building, I have to cut down so many trees. So many trees will go. So many plants will go. So many insects will die. The place where I am going to construct the hospital, it may be home for many insects, many cockroaches, many rats, many snakes. All will have to vacate. and many will die. That is why they do a Bhumi Puja before building anything. That's a compensation. There is no karma without himsa. Even if I move my lips, I am doing himsa. I am speaking to you. I am killing so many bacteria. Therefore, every karma has its own demerit, its own flip side. Therefore, do not look at the demerits of a karma. If you keep on counting the demerits of a karma, you will never do a karma. Therefore, while performing swadharma, you cannot do the cost-benefit analysis. There is no cost-benefit analysis in swadharma. The only thing you have to see is whether it is your swadharma or not. Whether it is proper for you to do or not. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadoshamapi na tyajet. Hey Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, Sahajam karma. It is another word for swadharma. Sahajam karma. The karma which is entitled for oneself is one's sahaja karma. What an individual is supposed to do. Sadoshamapi, even if it is sadosha, even if it has demerits in one form or another, na tyajet, do not give it up. Because sarvarambha hi doshena dhumena sarvarambha, all karmas, doshena avrataha, they are associated with demerits. There is no karma without demerits. There is no good karma without its own flip side, its own downside. Krishna gives the example, dhumena agnihi iva. Just like fire is associated with smoke. If you want fire, you should be ready to tolerate the smoke also. Nowadays we have gas, but it was not so a few years back, 30, 40 years back. If you have to cook, you need fire. And fire means there will be smoke. Every cook had to tolerate smoke. And it was so with the yajna also. If you have to perform yajna, you should be ready to tolerate the smoke. Likewise, while performing karma, even the swadharma, there will be so many forms of demerits, so many forms of criticisms. Even people will have to put up with criticism. Even while performing a good karma. Many people who are performing service, they get criticism from many quarters. Suppose I have to build an institution, there will be so much of discouragement, so much of criticism. Even cooking, suppose you are cooking, someone will say salt is less, someone will say sugar is less. There will be criticism. If everything is fine, nobody will talk. But if something goes wrong, people start commenting. It is like a smoke. One should not get disheartened. You cannot say, I will not cook. It is swadharma. Do it as a swadharma, as an offering to Ishvara, irrespective of criticism. Asakta buddhis sarvatra jitatma vigataspruhaha naishkarmya siddhim paramam sanyasenadhigacchati. Performing swadharma with the proper attitude brings about chitta shuddhi. On getting chitta shuddhi, the individual becomes eligible for the pursuit of Brahmajnana. So far, we talked about Swadharma, which is called Karma Yoga. Performing one's Swadharma with the proper attitude is called Karma Yoga. So far, we talked about Karma Yoga. Now Krishna is talking about Jnana Yoga. A person with the Chitta Shuddhi, a person who has done enough Swadharma for a length of time, and the length of time spans for almost a whole life, and sometimes it may be more than one life also. Aneka janma samsiddha, for many lives. That is when he becomes ready for jnana. It is not immediate. You cannot expect the result in just 1 or 2 years also. Some result may come in 1 or 2 years. You may see the change. But to take a very tangible result, it takes many, many years. That is why one should have a lot of Shraddha in performing Swadharma. As a result of Swadharma, one gets Chitta Shuddhi. Asakta buddhihi. The Chitta Shuddhi is freedom from all the undesirable emotions in the mind. person becomes asakta buddhi, sarvatra asakta buddhi. He is free from attachment towards everything. Putradara grihadishu, towards his son, towards his wife, towards his house, all that he possesses, he loses the attachment. He is no longer emotionally dependent on his relatives or his possessions. Free from attachment, free from emotional attachment. Jitatma. Jitaha atma yasya saha jitatma. He gets mastery over his mind. He gets a disciplined mind as a result of swadharma. The mind gets disciplined. He has a say over his mind. The mind does not take him for a ride. Vigataspruhaha. He is free from desires. Free from ambitions. He does not want to become president of America. He does not want to accomplish anything in the material world. Free from ambitions. Free from desire to enjoy the material world. These are the indications of Chitta Shuddhi. There can be many indications. Krishna mentions 3 indications. Jitatma, Asakta Buddhihi, and Vigataspruha. Then he is qualified for the pursuit of Brahmajnana. For a full-time pursuit of Brahmajnana, we have something called sannyasa. The lifestyle of sannyasa is meant for a full-time pursuit of Brahmajnana. A sannyasi gives up all possessions, all actions, all responsibilities, and commits himself to the pursuit of Brahmajnana. Only a qualified person can take sannyasa. If a person takes sannyasa without adequate chitta shuddhi, it will be a problem. Therefore, Krishna says, sannyasena, by means of sannyasa. He takes sannyasa and pursues full-time jnana, full-time shravana, manana, nididhyasana. Devotes all his time for shravana, manana and nididhyasana. In due course of time, he gets Atmajnana. He gets established in Atmajnana. As a result of Atmajnana, he enjoys moksha. Naishkarmya siddhim paramam adhigacchati. Paramam naishkarmya siddhim. The moksha is called naishkarmya siddhi. Krishna uses the word naishkarmya siddhi to refer to moksha. Nirgatam karma yasmat saha nishkarma. Nishkarmanaha bhavaha naishkarmyam. Naishkarmyam eva siddhihi naishkarmya siddhihi. Naishkarmya siddhi means freedom from all karma. Freedom from all actions and all the results of actions. All karma, which includes all phala also. And to be free from all karma and all phala, one should be free from kartritva and bhoktritva. One should be free from doership and enjoyership. And how to get it? Through Atmajnana. A jnani is free from kartritva and bhoktritva. That is moksha. Moksha is freedom from kartritva and bhoktritva. A jnani does not identify as a karta and a bhokta. Then he is free from samsara. That is naishkarmya siddhi. Moksha. And it is parama. It is the ultimate goal. Naishkarmya siddhi is parama. There is nothing more to attain. Adhigacchati. He attains. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.